Just summertime. When's your birthday? Today? Tomorrow. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. But up. Is that like a take? Good evening, everyone. It is about a minute and a half till 6 o'clock. This is our evening session with Chatting with the Chief. I sat down this afternoon with Kelly and just fielded some questions, talked to some individuals, and talked a little bit about kind of what was going on in our department, what we've done over the last weekend, as we're now halfway through the month of June already. So my intent today is, this evening, is to kind of recap some of those things we talked about in this session. And if anybody has any questions or comments, things that we'd like to talk about, that's what this venue is for. It's kind of a through social media platform here to field questions that might be coming through from citizens. I will say right off the top that if someone asks a question about a particular case, I'll try to talk of it at the 50-foot level. I don't want to say anything that hurts any type of cases that come attorneys working on or detectives are working on, and to jeopardize anything there. But we'll try to be as open and transparent as I can with what I can share with you. We'll talk a little bit about crime and data and statistics briefly. And we'll share a little bit. We just had our police graduation for our last recruit class. I'm excited about that. And then some individuals who have put in a lot of time in this department and have shared with us that that time has become very short now. Talk about some of the youth events we have. Of course, we have Juneteenth flag raising. We'll be celebrating that all week with a festival concert, if you will, on Saturday. Talk a little bit about what's going on around the country, some things we saw with protests and demonstrations, the exchange between Israel and Iran, and individuals from both of those countries who are here and live here in our city, and we want to make sure that everyone feels safe. And then a little bit about what happened up in Minnesota with some elected officials that were targeted, and an arrest was made on that. Was it Saturday night or Sunday night? They identified that individual and made some arrests. But I would ask this, Mr. Ramos, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. If anyone's logged in right now, maybe Mr. Ramos, maybe you can help me. Are we coming across okay? Meaning, is the audio sounding all right, and visually, is the screen working? Is everything working the way it should? I haven't touched anything. I'm not messing with anything. But I'm here with Matt tonight, and I just wanted to make sure that you can see us and hear us okay. So if anybody wouldn't mind, just let me know that sound is good and picture is good. That would be very, very helpful and appreciative. So like I said earlier, hey, Miss Neal, it's good to hear you. Can hear you and see you fine. How have you been? Michaela, I'll tell you, it's been good. It's been 100 miles an hour the last couple weeks. But, you know, in this profession, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that's okay. But it's been good, very blessed. The good Lord has blessed our city, our department, very, very thankful. All the things, there's a lot of things going on. Like I said, we just had a graduation. Now we're into the summer, past halfway through June already. I was telling Matt and Kelly, it seems like we just had like Thanksgiving and Christmas like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're already in mid-June, past mid-June, right? But it's doing well. So I hope you're having a good summer, and hope you are doing well, and your family is good as well. And thank you, Michaela, for joining us. So let me start by, let's hit on crime. I said earlier, our city is almost at an 8% reduction in violent crime. We are up 1 homicide from where we were this time last year, and last year was about a 15-year low for us in homicides. We're actually down in shootings. We're down by 3 shootings from where we were, non-fatal shootings, right? Shot in the arm, the leg. We're down 3 from where we were this time last year, and that was about a 25-year low. So in those areas, rape and robbery, we're both down in those categories. But it puts violent crime at about, it's like 7.78%. The numbers just came out on Monday, so they're on my desk. I've gone through those. We look at those crime data, those numbers every Monday from 1 o'clock till 3, and then we talk about them again to 1 o'clock, from 1 o'clock till 3 on Thursdays as well. So we go through crime data and trends, patterns. We look at it compared to last month, the same time frame last year. The first quarter, the second, we're looking at it in a variety of ways. And when I say data, don't mistake, and I realize that each one of those data points are individuals, right? Their family members, their friends, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. They make up our neighborhoods and our community here in Newport News. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I realize that, and I think that's one of the hardest things because we're talking about people. But when I talk about data, I want to know that I'm really talking about our strategies. Are they working? Are we seeing data, individuals, crime? Are we seeing it spike? We need to change some things. Are we seeing it decrease on some things we need to double down on? Are we kind of seeing it flatline? And we want to tweak some things to try to get some decreases. So that's why we look at those numbers. I just want to make sure that no one confuses. I don't look at them, oh, they're just numbers. Those are people. And that's why we wait so much in training, so much in technology, so much in personnel, so much in staffing, so much in strategies, because those individuals matter to me. So I just wanted to share with you kind of where we're seeing spikes this year really is our auto thefts and larcenies. Auto thefts in the central and northern part of the city primarily, and the thefts are kind of universal. When I say thefts, I'm talking shoplifting, larceny of a cell phone, someone stole a pair of tennis shoes, something stolen out of a car where a laptop was left in the back of the car that's unlocked. I'm not saying that's get what you deserve. I'm not saying that at all. Just, we're not seeing a lot of windows broken and items stolen. It's usually trying to lock it and taking something to the car that's unlocked. But there are times when people do break into vehicles. So that's the areas that we have seen some spikes in this year. Let me just catch up a little bit. Good evening, Chief. Oh, hey, Ms. Carey, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to graduation. You're a big supporter of the community relationship between police and our citizens, and NAACP activists. You've helped us with our interviews for promotions, and I really appreciate that. Michaela, it's good to have you back this evening. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, enjoying your summer before you get ready to go back to school. Ms. Ramos, looks good. Lighting and everything. Well, I appreciate that. I don't know about all that stuff, but as long as it looks good, I'll take that. And I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you. Sue, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us this evening. I hope all is well with you and that you're having a good, knock on wood, a good summer so far. So we'll start on a high note. We've talked a little bit about the crime and where we're at. We have a partnership with the state police. We've been doing that the last couple of years. A couple state troopers are on loan with us for the summer. We actually started that in May to kind of set the tone. We've integrated them in with our narcotics and our gangs division. And we just got our street teams up and running again in our precincts. They just started Monday, so it gives the precincts another tool to address. Where you can take some officers and focus. Right now, if we have like speeding complaints or theft from autos, whatever it might be, officers are answering those radio calls, and then when they have time, they'll go focus on those problems. What we're able to do now is answer those radio calls with that class of graduating, and we're able to take certain officers and focus on these problems and concerns. So that gives us the precincts another tool. So I'm really excited about that. And how is that possible? Because last Friday, we had 19 individuals graduate our police academy, walk across the stage. We gave them the weekend off. We kind of always go back and forth about that, but we had some people travel a good distance. We had people all the way from Florida, New York, the West Coast, homegrown right here, and Matt, all the way from Gloucester, my friend. All right, so for me, I like letting the families have the weekend together, spend time with your loved ones, and then let them start work on Monday. So we did that. It was a great graduation. That's one of the funnest things for me. Just like any other graduation, we had a high school student deliver some remarks. He did a great job. I really thought he was the best speaker we had. President Kelly, who's a class act from CNU, who ran the academy for Coast Guard, and now, as I said, the president of CNU. He's a great partner, champion for our city, a great partner with the police department and higher education, and he's just been fantastic. So he delivered some remarks as well. Our city clerk, clerk of courts, Angela Reasons, swore the officers in, and we just got to have a good time. So So graduation went well. After graduation, I was able to, so that was Friday, right? So after graduation, I went to what we call Friday Night Nets in two different locations in our city. We're doing like midnight basketball concept, right? It goes from like 6 to 10, 6 to 11 in the Denby Community Center. So the first half is youth, younger middle school, and then the older crowd comes in later in the evening. So Denby Community Center, and then in the south end of our city, the Cheevel Dreams tennis courts. We have multiple basketball courts there. So I used to go to the Denby Community Center for about an hour and a half first, and take the drive south and spend the last hour and a half down south. I got to visit both. A lot of great staff there, people from Parks and Rec, city security, of course, were there. But man, it was just great seeing basketball pickup games, little 3-on-3 tournaments. I interacted a little bit with Pastor Swan and got to watch him play and his team. It was just good times, man. There was good food, good sportsmanship, and you know, like I say in other events, there was a lot more going on than just basketball. You're building relationships and partnerships. You're meeting people, talking to people about what they're doing for the summer. So I really had a good time Friday night, right? So we started out with our graduation, and then with some basketball. Staying with last week. Wait, let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Doris, hey Doris, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Linda, hi Chief. I went by the convenience store in Killen Creek today, where there was a murder a couple years back. Wow, it's funny you bring it up. I just had a conversation about that this morning. I was wondering if there's any updates on finding the person responsible for the crime. Linda, I can tell you this. You know, when I got on earlier, I said I don't want to say anything to jeopardize the case. We are moving in the right direction. I just had a conversation about this case this morning. I wish I could tell you more. You know, we have a cold case unit now. We have had 9 homicides in our city this year, one more than last year. Of those 9, we have solved 7, soon to be 8. There's a lot of good momentum in those cases. They work very well, and there's a lot of good momentum. And we'll leave it at that, Linda. Okay? But I remember that case. I remember being at the scene. I remember family members that showed up, and I remember some comments that were said that night. And it's one case that's very near and dear to me. Like you said, it was a double homicide that occurred, a double murder there a couple years back, and it is not forgotten. Nor will it. But I appreciate you bringing that up, Linda. Thank you. Sandra, Sandra, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining us tonight. You know, Linda, one of the reasons we started a cold case unit is to look at some cases that didn't have a lot of traction, to put some fresh eyes on it. That case is one that we have not taken our eye off of, if that makes sense. A lot of good information, and that really affected our community. So, like I said, I remember being there with family that night, and it was a hard scene. You know, when we talk about gun violence, last week on Wednesday, we had a gun violence walk. So we have a homicide support group in our city. And that meeting is put on by our homicide division, Dr. Shavers and Lieutenant Schmidt, Captain Petrosky, Chief Creswell, myself. A lot of us attend those meetings regularly. And it's made up of individuals who've lost loved ones to gun violence. But not just here in Newport News. We have individuals that have come from other states that have moved in and attend that meeting. Individuals who come from other cities and around our locality or around our jurisdiction. This very special group to me. A lot of conversation, helping people get through situations, through birthdays, holidays, providing advice for people, if you will. And one of the things they did is they wanted to do some action, not just sit and talk. So a couple years back, they started a gun violence awareness walk. We do that at City Center by the fountain. Several individuals come forward and give some words. And then we walk around the fountain, take a photo afterwards. The media comes there and covers. Mr. Gwynn spoke. I had a few remarks. Our mayor spoke. Welcomed everyone two fantastic young people. One sang a beautiful song, the other wrote a poem and read it. And then we had a mother who had lost her daughter to gun violence in a domestic type situation, and it was very, very powerful. We had prayer before and after. Dr. Cherry was there, one of our chaplains, and then we walked around the fountain and just talked with each other and just raised awareness and had some conversations. And seeing people united like that, I thought it was really, really great. They did a great job, and it was just a really good event. Let me catch up here just a second. Jason, Elk York County saw the Parkway murders. Jason, I'll tell you, you guys are hitting on some good topics tonight, man. I probably 3 months ago, I actually was in the office and doing some reading, and I've seen some documentaries on that. I think a little bit of that was before my time. I was an assistant up in Richmond at the time, and was just reading up on some of that. It's funny you brought that up. And I'm sure that they're still looking at those cases as well. And it looked like from some of the videos and documentaries, are you familiar with that, Matt? Some of the videos and documentaries that they made some headway on some things, but horrific. I mean, I was glued to the TV and the screen, I guess you could say, as I was reading that. Marina, I didn't know if you knew, but there has been an arrest made in the Kerry and Chloe case. It's just waiting. The next stages are preliminary hearing. There's some, attorneys bring things forth that they want to talk about first, what they allow and what they. So there's some things that the judge needs to decide on. But there was an arrest made in that a couple months ago now, Matt, right? An individual was charged and arrested for the murder of both of those individuals. Myself and Mr. Glenn did a short press conference here and at police headquarters and share that with our community. I know it's been on a lot of people's minds. And another, it's very, very hard murder. Matter of fact, that was the first case that Mr. Glenn briefed me on when I got here. I got to meet the family or some family members, and that was a hard case. Does Newport News have a summer curfew? So we do have a curfew in our city. It's not just set because of the summer. We do have a curfew here. If you're out past 11 o'clock, you have to be accompanied by an adult. But I will tell you, it's one of the things we've talked about in other parts of our city. I've seen some other jurisdictions do that. We've looked at that. Something we talked about with our city managers and our city attorney as well. But it is at 11 o'clock right now. Lucas, I finally came across the fourth wrapped vehicle. I see the city center car everywhere, usually with a car stopped. It's the best looking of the four. The city center, so I'll tell you, man, the PIO office came up with that concept. We did wrap 4 vehicles. One police headquarters, right, for recruiting, and then one in the south, one in the central, one in the north. One in the north covers the parks up there, and central, like you just said here, is city center and the fountain, and one down south is our shipyard and an aircraft carrier. So that's pretty cool, man. You got to see all of that. I like that. You got to let me know. Did you think they looked sharp? Did you like them? It sounds like you liked the one that City Center has the best. So I hope you're not one of the cars that got pulled over. But you got to let me know if you like those vehicles or not, man. But thank you. I appreciate it. It was a great. We get a lot of comments on it. People want to take pictures with them, and Kelly and her team did a great job. When Lauren was with us, the concept, and man, I was really happy to see those cars look sharp. Really sharp. Okay, but we still don't know the whereabouts of those beautiful beings. Marina, you're correct. We have not found Karen and Chloe. We still do searches from time to time if new information comes in. It would be my hope that, without going too much into the case, that individual or individuals who may know where they are, that now would be the time that they would come forward and share that information with us. But to your question, an arrest has been made, but we have not found it. No, we have not. Regrettably, we have not. So we talked about our graduation. We talked about our gun violence walk. I thought that was important. We talked about our crime. We talked a little bit about youth. Let me tell you a little bit about the weekend. So I guess about 3 months ago, 2 school resource officers came to me one high school and one in middle school, and they're both are big into football, and they both coach youth football. Well, their concept was we would like to do a youth camp for football. So we had about 120 kids register to sign up for a football camp. They were able to coordinate a bunch of high school and middle school and youth coaches that came together and worked with young people, right? So Saturday morning, I got to Todd Stadium around 8 o'clock. Kids were showing up. They were laying down the different courses and the different areas that they would be working on. And so I just said a few words, and then we got them out to the 50-yard line. The coaches took over, and it was great. I hung out for about an hour and a half there before I went to the next event. And I saw the kids doing different drills and different stations. Our city manager, assistant city manager, Bo Clayton, showed up. A couple of our officers that came and were just in the area to stop by. But Community Youth and Outreach, the Morrison and Officer Ford did a great job in putting this event on, bringing it together. We had snacks. And, man, I was looking at our Matt, I don't know if you were the one that put it up there or not, but I was looking at our webpage earlier, our Facebook page, and I saw pictures of the camp. And a couple people had posted, like, man, we had a great time. We got to do this again. But there was a lot more going on there than just football. Again, we're building relationships, right? We're interacting, making friendships, meeting new people, and interacting with young people, which I thought was very, very, very important. And I really, really enjoyed seeing that. And I really liked that the SROs had the initiative to do that. They saw a need and an opportunity, and it was just phenomenal. So that's where I started Saturday morning. It was great. Mr. Ramos, I want to thank you and your staff and the Newport News police officers, and especially you, Chief Drew, for being involved in our community. You guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you. And stay safe. Wow, Marina, I tell you, I appreciate that. The officers deserve all the credit. It's for me, it's to kind of create that atmosphere and encourage that, and then to watch it kind of come into play. So on the heels of that, after I left the football camp, we do a lot with youth. And you've heard me talk about our Young Adult Police Commissioner program. It's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior from each high school. So that's 4 students from each high school, 6 times 4 is 24. Well, this year we had 45. And we have debates, we work with news outlets to learn how to do interviews, we walk in communities, we work at the food bank, we do community cleanups, we play kickball games. For those commissioners that are watching, usually the police department wins, but they keep challenging us, and that's okay. They go to the city council meetings and meet with the mayor and the elected officials and introduce themselves. They speak at every one of our award ceremonies, graduation ceremonies, promotional ceremonies, memorial services, National Night Out. In fact, we had a junior who spoke at our last police graduation, and it was amazing. Just amazing comments. When he said the phrase, "Youth today are thankful that you protect us. They don't want you to police us." Wow, that's impactful. And to say that to a bunch of recruits that are graduating, that's just impactful. So with that group, told you a young lady wrote a poem for the gun violence walk. So this same young lady, she may be chiming in here in a little bit. That same young lady asked me to come to watch a soccer game with her brother. And so I went to Gethsemane Baptist Church. I've been there several times before. Bishop Riddick, a mentor to me, great church, great people, great congregation, and they're trying to do a lot with youth. And they're doing some soccer games. So there were 2 or 3 different games going at the same time. Some older kids and some younger, and so I stayed to watch 2 games of soccer, and I paid the price for it. But man, I had a great time. I got to interact with family and kids and friends. You got to see my friend Samaya there, and introduced me to some people, and it was just really, really nice to see kids playing soccer. I'm thinking, man, summertime, school's out, I'll probably sleep until noon. These kids are up playing soccer early in the morning, man. It was awesome. From there, I left and went to Anderson Park So my favorite sport is baseball, hands down. And I went to Anderson Park, and I saw teams from the Boys and Girls Club playing baseball. I heard they played their games there. I got out to see them before at South Morrison, but I hadn't been down to Anderson Park. I got there, and man, I was hanging out behind home plate, talking with the umpire, the coaches. I knew some of the kids that were playing, and just getting to interact with them and hang out with them. So made for a long Saturday morning into the afternoon and early evening hours. But I just had a good time, man, just interacting with the coaches, the kids, the umpire. It was warm, man. The sun was out Saturday for sure, but I also believe that showing up matters, and being there and supporting the youth of our city, which I think are some of the most talented young people in the state, if not the country. I really, really enjoyed that, and I really, really had a good time. Now these conversations for me matter. You gotta help me out. Oh, like promoted. Okay. You don't get paid for that. Get your account so. Oh yeah. That's okay. We're not gonna let that sidetrack us from the thing we're sharing. So we talked about crime, talked about the camps. So on the heels of that, that was Saturday. This Monday morning, I got here early, and I got to welcome 21, 22 young people in our CPAY, or our Citizens Academy for Youth. And so Monica White, amazing job. Miranda Eccles, their team, school resource officers, and young people, and they do this camp, right? And they break it up into 4 teams, and they compete against one another. And those school resource officers get pretty, they don't like to lose, right? So there's a point system, and they do different events throughout the week. But they'll get exposed to police officers, some fire department stuff, some things we do with drones, talk to some different units, see the boat, those type things, the SWAT teams, some of the vehicles we use. They really have a good time. They came in Monday, and I see it every year. They come in Monday, and they're kind of like, and they're somewhat quiet. And then by midweek, man, they're bouncing off the walls. Well, I'm talking about the SROs, not the kids. But it's really good, that interaction. You get to know each other. And there's individuals here that are born and raised here in Newport News. There's some that are from other countries and live here in Newport News. I think that's great. Diversity, I think, is fantastic. And we just really had a good time. So that's how we started off on Monday. Myself and Chief Creswell and some others. I saw Captain Dunbar, Lieutenant Raj, and others. We went down to City Hall, and we had the flag raising ceremony and a ceremony for celebrating Juneteenth. So I had great speakers. The mayor was there, great moderator, the joint honor guard, so sheriff, police, and fire raised the Juneteenth flag. There was some celebration and dance. They were amazing, by the way. And just kind of interacting with folks here in the city and citizens that came up, elected officials, retirees. Our own Jerry Harrison, retired from the police department and currently works for our school system. He sang, and he did a great job. He sang, he was just great. He did a fantastic job. It was good to see Jerry, my friend. And I told him, I said, "You need any backup?" And he kind of looked at me side eye, like, I don't know what he meant by that, but at least offered. Well, like I said, we'll be celebrating Juneteenth all week, and then on Saturday there's a concert from 3 to 8. It is limited, right? The Victory Landing will hold so many people there, so you want to get there early, because once it gets to capacity, we won't be able to let other people in, just for safety reasons, right? What we can manage and handle. So, but I look forward to a nice concert. People coming out. I think it's supposed to be pretty good weather, but I'm looking forward to that as well. Wanted to share just Matt, am I caught up? Am I missing anybody? Yeah, I went talking a little bit. Well, I was at the baseball game. I started getting some phone calls from some of our elected officials with some concerns that they had seen the news story, and I hadn't heard much about it then. It was later that evening that I read up more about it, about what happened in Minnesota. And in short, an individual dressed up as an officer. I think at one point he had a Halloween mask, or a mask on, if you will, and he shot and killed an elected official and their spouse, and they died, and then he shot another elected official and their spouse, but they lived or were critically injured. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I've got it right in my head, I think they made an arrest Sunday night. The motive in that, I haven't heard all that, but I did get some calls, concerns from elected officials, and I just wanted to hear their concerns and reassure them. If anybody calls or make threats, sometimes people will see something and they'll text or whatever to let me know. But we had some good conversations Saturday. Saturday evening and through the weekend. I also had some protests, not just here in Virginia, but across the country. We've also seen what's been going on in Los Angeles. We did not have anything like that here. So my heart goes out to everyone in LA with some of the demonstrations and protests, for everyone's safety there. Very thankful that the demonstrations that we had in our region, in our state, all seemed nonviolent. I believe the only incident was in Culpeper, where someone was struck by a vehicle. But I have friends up in Richmond and Chesapeake, Williamsburg, I believe, Matt, is that right? All had protest demonstrations, and I don't believe that anything went violent. It is something that we monitor and share with our federal partners if they hear anything, if there's any threats made, with our state police, our Fusion Center, which we have a great relationship with. But I wanted to double check on that and make sure that I kept our elected officials and city management informed on anything that we heard. The rest was Sunday night. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anna, hi Chief. Just woke up from a nap. At 6:30. What in the world? Good for you. I'm jealous. Hope you're doing well. Yep, I can't complain, Anna. It's great. It's a good day, and we've been rolling today. We've had a lot of stuff done. So, so just monitor those things across, like I said, across the state. But from everything I saw on Red, we didn't have any issues here at all. The other thing that we're monitoring on our side in the police department is the bombings that are taking place between Israel and Iran. And the reason I bring that up is I just want to reach out to individuals who live here in Newport News from those countries. I don't want people to feel threatened or targeted in any way. So just reach out to some different entities, make sure they're doing okay, to check on them. And we're kind of placed in the middle in law enforcement to keep things calm and safe. And want to make sure that we were able to do that. Haven't had any issues in our city. I'm very, very blessed and thankful for that. But I do think it's important to reach out and have some of those conversations. Leslie Morris, how are you, ma'am? We really need to know the two gone to for real. Ms. Morris, help me out a little bit. I'm probably reading it wrong. We really need to know the two gone to for real. I'm just not sure. Ms. Ramos, thank you. I appreciate that, praying for our country. I believe God has really blessed us here in Newport News, and I believe a lot in prayer for sure, and I appreciate that. I think that's important. I get a lot of calls, a lot of emails. People will call and check on me, check on the department. The churches will let us know that they're praying for us, praying for the officers, for their safety, their families. I really appreciate that. I think that goes a long way. And I talked a little bit about that in our graduation, Ms. Ramos. I talked about how it's very, very close-knit in Newport News. Now, I understand there's always individuals that want to, oh, this isn't that. But I will tell you, from what I see the most part, I think that this city is very special. I think we're blessed. I think people care about one another. I think everyone's trying to do the right thing. I think we all make mistakes, myself included. I'm probably the lead in the pack. But I think we show up for one another, try to help others, those that are less fortunate, donating time, whatever it might be, mentoring, working with. I'm very, very appreciative of the entities that we have, and whether I'm talking about school system, our faith leaders, Commonwealth Attorney's Office, the Newport News Police Foundation, the Police Department, neighborhood watch groups, NAACP, fire department, all the Boys and Girls Clubs, community centers, just providing opportunities, working together, sharing information and resources. Our mayor, our city council, vice mayor, city manager, assistant city manager, all of those things playing together, and that to me is important. I don't think you have that everywhere, and that's why I believe that we're really blessed here. How are your parents doing? They've had some bad weather in the area, I believe. Linda, oh my gosh, that's awesome. No, thank you for asking. I'll tell you this, I did get to go home a couple weeks ago and spend some time with my mom and dad. I wanted to get back here to see. I was able to attend every high school graduation. Achievable Dream on Thursday night. We had 3 graduations a couple Saturdays ago and 2 on Sunday. So it was a long weekend. But again, we talked about how important it is to show up for youth, to be there, just to show support and respect and encouragement. So I got to go, and let me tell you, the schools did great. I mean, they had those graduations down, man. They were on point and time. But I did get to attend each graduation. I wanted to do that. Other officers attended some of those with me, Captain Funiak, Lieutenant Allen. We even had a retired SRO come back. Skip Blanchard came back to see some folks in Warwick High School graduate. Mina came back to see some of the kids that she knew in Achievable Dreams graduate. It's just really good to see kids pass one hurdle, and now you know what's here and what's next, whether it's military, whether it's college, the workforce, whatever it might be. I was excited for them. So, but I say that when I went home, I got to see my mom and dad, and I will tell you, I love them to death. They're still very active, but I saw age in them. I saw them slowing down just a little bit. I realized it had been a while since I saw them. The last time I went home, the trip got cut short. There was like a bad winter storm coming through, and I knew, man, if I got stuck in that snow. So I left early, and I remember when I got back, I actually drove through the night, and when I got back in the morning here to Newport News, they had like 10 or 12 inches in Cincinnati. And I was like, man, I know if I would have waited, I would have been stuck in that. And oh my gosh. So, Linda, that means a lot, man. I really appreciate you asking. Thank you for that. That matters. Bernice, you're amazing. I don't know how you do all you do. I really appreciate your dedication to our youth because they are our future. Bernice, I would tell you what, it's funny you say that. I interviewed today and yesterday 3 individuals who want to join our department. And one of the things I do when I ask them, first, tell me about, oh, look, I'm giving away my secrets, Matt. One of the things I do is tell me about law. Why do you want to be in law enforcement? And they tell me why. And then I'll say, tell me why you want to be in law enforcement in Newport News. And what I hear from them is, we see what you guys do in the community. We see how interactive you are. We see what you do with youth, your focus on youth. And I will tell you, the things that I'm looking for about people to come into this organization, think outside the box, be creative. We cannot police the same way we did in 1985. The number one thing I'm looking for is you have to have a heart for other people. It's all about service. That's why in the academy, right, we shut the books down. We close the laptops. We get out of that classroom for a week. We interact with people that are homeless. We interact with people who have drug addictions. We're going to the elementary school, reading to kids. We're walking in neighborhoods, knocking on doors and meeting people. A couple classes ago, the recruits built a playground for the Boys and Girls Club. The officers who work in Central Precinct, they drive by South Morrison, they see kids playing on that playground that they built. That's huge. I can't teach that in a classroom. We're trying to teach the heart of service. So that when I hear these 3 individuals who want to join our department, and we're looking to start the new class at the end of the month, we'll probably have about 20 or 21. I'm waiting to hear that final number. They try to lowball me, Matt. They try to say, 18. It's going to be 20 or 21. And the 3 that I interviewed, man, they all said, we want to join this department because what you do in the community, how interactive you are, but primarily what you do with youth. And they are our future, and we talk about that. And one of the things I'll share with them is, young people drive me crazy sometimes, right? But all of us made mistakes. All of us had people help us as we were growing up, whether it was baseball coaches or parents, grandmas on the block, if you know what I mean, teachers, friends, pastors, youth pastors. Now, I'm not making excuses for individuals who are picking up a firearm because somebody said something about them on social media. Can't tolerate that. And I'm talking about kids who make mistakes. All of us make. I only know one person that was perfect, right? That young people are our future, and you're so right, Maurice. And I try to send a message right when we have a young person speak at one of our graduations. I want the youth of this city to know that I appreciate them, I respect them, I'm thankful for them, and I want them to know that they matter. But I also want men and women who wear this uniform, this badge, and these patches to know that youth matter because they are our future. Leslie, keep up. Leslie, I appreciate that. That means a lot. I'll tell you, Leslie, I still enjoy getting up every day, putting on this uniform. I look forward to coming to work. The days get long, and I wish that officers never had to see things that they have to respond to. I wish they didn't have to be exposed to those things, and not get jaded by the things that they see. Their mental health and wellness matter to me. We've come a long way in law enforcement. When I started, it was, all right, a pat on the back from the sergeant, lieutenant, and I get back to work. Today it's, nope, let's slow down. You saw some horrible things this week. A traffic accident where a teenager didn't walk away from. A case of child abuse. Someone who's committed suicide and taken their own life. I want to make sure that they're talking to someone. Whether it's trained professionals within our department psychologists, that we're doing check-ins on them. Some say, well, that's their job. Well, I would submit to you that, okay, but the human mind and the human heart, I don't believe, see those things and they don't matter. If they don't impact you, I'd have some concerns. And science tells us that we can suppress those thoughts, but they're still there. Some people get out that feeling by their faith, family and friends, exercise, relaxation, meditate, whatever it might be. My fear is I don't want others to turn to destructive things. I don't want them to become depression or turn into alcohol or destructive behavior to deal with some of the things that they respond to and see. But I thank God that there are individuals, men and women alike, who do want to do this job and protect others, to walk away from their own families and spend time trying to help other people. I think that's admirable, and I'm very, very appreciative. So, Bernice, Linda, and Leslie, thank you all three for those comments. I appreciate that. So we're in midsummer. We're past mid-June already, getting ready to come up to July. Once we have our Juneteenth celebration, the next big thing is 4th of July, which is just a couple of weeks away. So we'll gear up for that. We have an academy class of 15 that will graduate in October, and we just finished seating the class, which is going to be about 21, 22 individuals that start in about 2 weeks at the end of the month in June. Academies are 7 months, so June, July, August, September, October, November, December, June. They'll graduate around January, February of next year. And then we'll talk about doing another class in October. But our academy staff, they're staffed really well. Training is important. It's been kind of a cornerstone for us this year, bringing in different training classes that we've created in-house, bringing outside instructors here, sending officers out to different assessment centers. We just attended some training in Nashville. Chief Hires and Captain Cup will be going out to Colorado. Captain Petrosky and Chief Kresel were just in Boston. But going out and we have people right now up in Boston, and Lieutenant Morgan is up there. I think Lieutenant Webster is going next. If I got that right. Maybe Lieutenant Churchill, I think, is going next. But the reason I bring that up is you're around other departments, and I want them to come back and tell me, are we ahead of the game? Are we holding our own? Or are we falling behind? And I will just say, I'm not comparing us to any other department, but I will say I'm very happy to hear what I'm hearing about our organization, what other individuals are doing in law enforcement. And I believe that's the talent that we have here and the relationships we have with our community, our city management, and elected officials. Vivian. we at Pinecroft Senior Apartments want to thank the police cadets, that's be the recruits, right, for delivering food or food bank packages during our elevator downtime. They were truly amazing, polite, and strong. Thank you. So, Vivian, when I heard about that, I got a little choked up. So Monica White pulled me aside and she said, Chief, I want to share some good news with you. I'm like, Monica, what do we got? And so what Vivian is talking about is that community week when we shut the notebooks down, the laptops, right? We send the recruits out with instructors. Miranda Eccles and Monica do a lot to prepare them to interact with our community. What Vivian's talking about is senior apartments. The elevator was out, so food is delivered. And the elevators were out, so it was a long way to get up and down those stairs. So recruits took food, the respondent took food, or she says cadet, recruit, and they took food, walked up and down, and delivered food to individuals, to seniors. And that I cannot teach in a classroom. You cannot put that emotion on a PowerPoint. That is individuals who care about other people. And for Vivian, for you to take the time and write that message, that is so impactful to me. That is so impactful to me. You know, and when you think, I talk all the time about recruits, like sometimes you don't see something right away or hear it right away, and for you, that was a couple weeks ago, and that class just graduated. That was just a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah, no, that might be the other class. Yeah. That's the other class, right? They graduate in October. Vivian, I'm telling you right now, if you want to come see that class graduate, you let me know, and I will come get you myself. I will have an officer come pick you up. I would love for you to see that class graduate. They graduated in October, just a few, July, well, after the summer. But I heard about that, and it was, anyway, thank you, Vivian. That means a lot to me. Susan, I'm telling you that was, when Monica was telling me about that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, no, it was out, and they delivered food, and that is what service is all about. So, Vivian and Susan, man, thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for that. Yeah, so those are just kind of the things we talked a little bit about. We're going to continue to invest in technology. We just got word back today that we got a grant that we're going to use for Tabitha was able to sit down and share, hey, look, this is what we got, a little bit of a match to it, but we did get a nice grant. We'll do some of that for traffic enforcement and for some of our tactical things with cameras and things when we make approaches so we can see some things before we walk into danger, to hot areas, to hot zones. So I was really, really glad. Lieutenant Churchill, I don't know if you're watching, but those items you were asking about, that came through in the grant. So I'm pretty excited about that stuff. So it was great. It was great. Vivian, just let me know when. If it's in my power, I'll be there. Vivian, I'll tell you what, I absolutely will. And if you can't be there, we live stream it or we'll record it. It'll be playing on our Facebook. And I would encourage everyone, right? The Academy graduation is still on our YouTube page or our Facebook page here. You can pull it up and watch it. I have to share with you, again, we talk about family. So the night before graduation, myself and the command staff get to meet the parents of the recruits. So individuals who were here from Puerto Rico, right, in New York, all the way from Gloucester. We got to meet with them and interact with them a little bit. And after that, Captain Tegens asked to speak with us. And so he shared what something was on his mind. And then on graduation, and I checked with him first, but because we're a family, I asked the crowd to indulge me for a minute. And anybody who does 35 years in any profession, that's dedication. But to do 35 years in law enforcement in the same city, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty powerful. So I recognized, I asked Captain Tegens, if you watch the video, it's about 10, 12 minutes in, but I asked Captain Tegens to stand up and recognize, he told us that night, Chief, this will be my last graduation. That I'm going to retire July 1st, and Morgan, what are you going to do? Right? And he's like, I'm going to spend time with my mom and dad. And wow, blew me away. He has a true heart for people. His footprints are all over this organization. Mentorship, friendship, relationships. His last assignment was the captain over dispatch center, working with Laura and Val, who are just freaking phenomenal. But yeah, he's going to retire, and so just ask him to stand up. And the crowd that was there to see individuals graduate, they expressed their very much, in my opinion, appreciation for him, as did other members of the command staff. And I will certainly miss him. But I called him today, right? Today's election day in our city, across the state, and I want to make sure that everything's going okay at the polls. You know, not officers stiffing and anybody be intimidated. I just want to make sure everything's going smooth. Any calls for service, we need to respond. So he is retiring July 1, and he has still been monitoring that radio. Chief, we're all good, no calls for service, everything's went well. And then I'll report that back to the city manager and the mayor later today. But yeah, the class act, and I highlighted that in that video. So Vivian, if you go back and want to see it, it's a pretty touching moment there at graduation. Let's see, Lucas. So maybe one of those state police Mustangs with NPD. Lucas, you know what? I have not seen one yet, but I've heard about them. Was it last week? Yeah, last week we had a chiefs meeting. So there were probably 40 chiefs in the room downstairs here at headquarters. And this year, the Newport News Police Department was selected to be the chair of those meetings. So we moved the meeting around. That we're responsible for setting it up, right? So we're having a conversation, and I heard someone from the state police was talking about them. So that's the first I got to really hear about them. I haven't seen one yet, but yeah, a Mustang might look pretty good here in the Newport News fleet. Maybe you could put like chief of police on it or something like that, right? Can you imagine? But no, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. It doesn't matter how long, as I don't have to sit in the back seat cage. No, not at all. You can ride right in the front. We got seat belts and everything. Is it Darnley? Thank you for your leadership around the country, America. No, not America's cheating. No, look, just Newport News, man. I am so blessed. I think this is a great city. We have a great relationship with our community. We don't always get it right. We make mistakes, and myself included. I lead the pack. But I do think it's okay here to say that we're sorry, that we didn't get it right. We could have done a better job. We are not perfect. We go to mental health calls. We are not mental health professionals. We go to youth calls. We're not youth counselors. But we are individuals who care and do the best that we can in the situation. Can we always get better? Absolutely. Training is important. Technology is important. Bringing the right people in. I don't know if I should share this with you. I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way. But that means I'm probably going to share it. I called my friend right after. I called my friend Mike Coker, who works for the Department of Criminal Justice Services. And I shared this story with him after graduation. I haven't told anyone else here in the department. I still debate whether I have to say anything. So you guys get it for free. Older gentleman came up to me after graduation, introduced himself, and he is retired from the United States military. So he told me that, and I told him, first of all, thank you for your service to our country. And he said, Chief, I want to talk about some of the hairstyles I see. I said, what do you mean? He like some of the guys' hairstyles. He's like, I don't know about that, Chief. What's going on with that? I said, well, let me share three things with you. And I said, number one, some of the individuals that have their hair a certain way are going to interact with individuals in our community who have the same hairstyle. There's going to be a bond there. They're going to break some barriers and have some conversations that it's harder to have. And I said, so I need this community to see, when we talk about diversity, to see individuals who look like them, who maybe had some of the same history that they have. That was number one. Number two, we talked about that it's not 1985 anymore, that policing has evolved. When we started, everybody had flat tops, right? Everybody had close-cut hair. Policing has evolved. If you had a tattoo on your arm or certain hair, right? We have evolved, and society has evolved. Number three, I share this with you. So I did ask him first. I said, "Are you a man of faith?" And he said, "I am." And I said, "Well, I am too." And our graduation was the First Baptist Church, right? Where we hold a majority of our graduations. And I said, I'm more interested with what's in here, on the inside, than what I am on the outside. I understand appearance is important. Don't get me wrong. And people of faith, I think you understand what I'm talking about. But I'm more interested in what's going on in here and in here. The stuff that you can't see on the outlook. When you look at someone, you can't see on the inside. That's what I'm looking for. And he looked down. And it was a completely respectful conversation. He looked back to me, and he's like, "Wow, I just got a lesson, and you're right." And I wasn't to. I was just. I'm interested in what's going on in here, and how you care about someone you're dealing with, as opposed to what your hairstyle is, or if you have a tattoo now. Some of the tattoos I see, I don't get. I wouldn't want that. I'm afraid of needles. But I'm interested in what's going on in here. And that was the only individuals I've really shared that with. My friend Mike Coker from the Department of Criminal Justice Services. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. So I share it with you all. Matt, we go back and delete that off there. Yeah, it was a really good, and we shook hands, and he said, "Man, it was a great graduation." I thanked him for being there, and I feel like that's a friend now. He's a friend. So yeah, so look who's on here, Matt. Is that Mike Coker? Mike, I thought you were supposed to be home preparing for some lesson plan or something, and making sure our department's doing the right thing. I didn't know you were on here tonight, but yeah, Mike's a testament. He's a friend, but also a colleague, and I bounce ideas off of him. And I just shared that story. We talk a lot about young people in this profession, and you know, it's just, man, I have a heart for people who want to serve other people. And this individual, was a great man, served in our United States military, and we just had a conversation. But I remember walking to the car and calling my friend Mike, and just, hey, let me just share with you what happened. And I didn't. It was just a good conversation. It was just a moment. So anyway, Mike, I hope you're doing well, man, and appreciate that conversation. Vivian, we're blessed to have you and your senior police academy classes coming up. Well, so Vivian, I will tell you, our community and outreach, we will have a senior academy coming up. I don't want to tell you the wrong date, so I have to check that with Monica. Monica was out at the football camp with me on Saturday. We were just talking about new ideas and things that we want to do and focus on, and she brought that up. So I'm telling you, like, don't laugh. Don't laugh. We had a pickleball camp for kids in spring break. We've got Citizens Youth Academy, CPA, going on. Then we're going to have a drone camp. We have the football camp. We certainly have our Citizens Academy. We have our Citizens Alumni Academy, and Wayland puts on. And then we have our senior Citizens Academy that Monica puts on. So it's all about outreach, right? It's all about working with our community. And then we ask those community members to come back and sit on our Youth Force Review Board. We ask those community members to come back and participate, sit on panels with me when we select our new sergeants, our new lieutenants, our new captains. We ask those same community members to take part when we screen new applicants and have them talk to the individuals who want to join this police department. So that's important to me. It makes a lot of strong relationships and partnerships when we do those things. So, and again, a lot of prayers and blessings and things from our faith leaders in our community. Our chaplains play a huge role in what we do. Dr. Cherry, Walter Satchel, and others. Just a few weeks ago, we had several individuals from churches around our area that came and just prayed over the department and the city, and the officers, and the community. That's powerful. That's impactful. So I'm very, very humbled and appreciative of what all of us do. We're all in this together. We're pushing up on the time. I don't want to hold anybody up. I really, really appreciate the interaction tonight and the conversations. Vivian, it was great to hear from you. And I'll tell you, Vivian, I'm going to share your posts with the recruit class. We talk about, you never know when people are watching. Um, I talked about it earlier, and again, I was telling my friend Mike, um, it's kind of customary for police chiefs to do a final inspection of recruits before they come out and take their place on stage. So I found a beautiful 10-year-old little girl, and I asked her to come with me to inspect the troops, right? So you ask, why would you do that? So I talked a lot to our recruit class about people are always watching you, whether it's across the street, from a corner store, from a park, from stopped in traffic. But one of the groups that will watch you a lot are young people, and from it's a playground or through the window blinds, right? Playing in their front yard. So symbolically, I wanted them to see this young girl stand beside me as we inspected each officer, right? Is their uniform straight? Is their tie clip, their name badge on, right? Everything pinned the way it should be. Is their tie? By the way, these are clip-ons, right? So I would have her go up to some of the recruits and tug on their tie to make sure it was on right. And I would ask her, I said, do they look okay? And she would say yes. And she would laugh a little bit. But I also saw the recruits, right, who were locked being inspected. But I would see some smiles on her face. There was a lot more going on there than just an inspection. Right? We're building relationships. I want them to see how young people look at them. I want young people to see us and feel comfortable with law enforcement. So it was great, man. Her mom came back and videoed some of that. We huddled up and had a prayer, and then they came out and did graduate. They followed those bagpipes out there, and it was amazing. So, yeah, if you get a chance, take a look at that graduation. It was something. Ms. Ramos, good night to you. Have a great evening. Joy. Tattoos, needles have evolved too. They don't hurt like they used to. I've seen those needles, Joy. They're like this long. What are you talking about? They're like this long and all that. And look, the tattoos aren't just green anymore, right? They got all these crazy colors and all that stuff. No. Look, not for me. It worries me about going to the dentist. Nobody's gonna stick needles and all that stuff. That ain't like rub-on stuff, Joy, where you rub it on and then wash it off the next day. That's the real deal. So for me, absolutely not. But I do get that life has evolved. And I get that. Robin, hey Robin, it's good to have you back. Good evening, Chief. Good to see you. Thank you for all you do, humanizing the badge. Robin, I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good summer. I've helped people too long. We're at, 7:01? I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for some great conversation. Joy says, I have 4. Joy, I know it hurt. I bet you were like gritting your teeth and like, yeah. Oh, yeah, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, I hear you. No, thank you. But I appreciate that. And some of them are some of them I have to get translational. Like, hey, what does that mean? But anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent of tattoo. But listen, I had a nice meeting with Kelly King today, and I think we've got some new ideas coming up on some interactions we want to share with you. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag here. But yeah, I think you'll find it. I hope you'll find it informative. But I'm going to get out of the way now. Have a great evening. Please be safe. Look out for one another. We'll do this again next month. Please remember that we are in the summer. There's more kids out playing. Be careful. They're running around in the street and doing what kids do, right? So God bless you and your families. I want to thank the men and women who do this job day in and day out. Greatly, greatly appreciate you. Please be safe, and we'll see you all next month in July. God bless.